And we're live on Instagram. Good morning, everyone. My name is Rick Noda, here, host of T3 Talks and founder of T3 Body, where we tighten, tactical, and transition into your daily lives. Now, you guys, if you can, let's get some of the form, like what I say, the errands or some of the sponsorship taken care of. Go ahead, and if you're liking these videos, you guys, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And if you want a thumbs up, and share it to your friends, because this week is Nurses Week. Yes, and I'm a nurse, and I'm a nurse. Yes, I am. I often tell everybody that it's kind of cool is being a nurse. One of the takeaways I liked of being a nurse was that it's not too far off of being a Marine. And I'll tell you a little bit about that too. So all my nurses out there, I want to say thank you so much for being on the front lines. As a Marine, I will tell you something. There is really not a lot of difference between being that nurse and being that Marine. And let me explain a little bit about that. This weekend, I got to say thank you to my friend Chad and 9/11 Academy. Right there, you could see from that group right there. It was a mix of Marines that had served during my era, some Navy SEAL guys, which really we saw the difference. And I'll tell you, in my studio audience, you guys, we had a moment there that it was so Marine Special Forces and SEAL Special Forces. It was just funny. So just imagine, you guys, we are outside in the range. It's about midday. So we're already halfway in. So it's been hot a little bit. We go down to the ground, which is in the prone position, to fire and practice on our marksmanship. When you're shooting, you have to shoot with the right hand and, what do you guys? The left hand, correct? So when we're doing that, there's only one little thing that's wrong with that. The magazine release is usually meant for right-handed individuals. So it's difficult to press the magazine release with your left hand because it doesn't use your thumb. So there's a technique that the Marines do where you kind of roll over to your side, you kind of put the weapon on your chest, keeping it still safely downrange, and you change the magazine out, and you just put it back in. The Navy SEAL, the gentleman, I totally forgot his name, I apologize, you'll see him in the photo there, literally showed us where if you're in the prone position, you actually place the weapon down in front of you, you flip it to one side, drop the magazine, place the magazine back in, and flip it and turn it back to your left hand. You guys know I'm dyslexic as hell. So he does this, and I go, like this, because it's and he puts the magazine in. I literally raise my hand and going, I need to practice that. That ain't going to come tonight. That's not going to happen. So that practice in that incident really shows, again, the technicality or the tacticalness when it comes to training. So what do I want to talk about today in Nurses Week? We want to talk about what I call the mental awareness. Here, there's a code of awareness, and it's called the state of being prepared. Now, that code of awareness, guys, has, if I'm not mistaken, 5 levels, correct, you guys? 5, okay? So that first level, you guys, is that white level. Now, that white level is really, again, is you don't want to be in that level white. Level white means, golly, what day is it today? I'm sorry, I don't want to offend anyone that is from the South. I'll speak in my New York accent. With someone putting their head down like this, not really looking I'm from New York City. I'm going to stay right here. Or I'm from Boston, Mass. All right? I'm just worried about me. That person's in level white. They don't know that there's 2 people in front of them. There's a dog barking at the side. They don't see any of that, you guys. And honestly, in the military, we call those guys sheep, all right? Unfortunately, if anything happens, guess what happens to that, you guys? Those get wiped out, all right? So the sheep get wiped out. That's a sense of awareness that we don't want to be in, all right? The next sense of awareness is where you'll see most of your law enforcement in when they're in their patrol cars, and that's and your firefighters is when they're on duty. That's a sense of yellow. That yellow sense of awareness means, hey, you know what? I know things are going on. I live in a little crazy world. I'm on duty right now, so I'm driving in my patrol car, and I'm scanning to see if there's possible threats, things going on, Firemen were sitting there. They may be playing cards, but they're aware if they're listening to if the bell goes off, things in that nature. That's a sense of yellow. Sense of orange is a little bit different, okay? Sense of orange means, and I'll give you an example. I was with my wife the other day. So we finished the entrenched prologue, and after we finished the entrenched prologue, myself and my wife are walking back to our car. It's late in the evening, and we're in downtown San Diego. It's about 9 o'clock. Two transients, or two individuals that are homeless or bums, all right? I know because I could smell them, all right, are yelling at each other. They're yelling profanities at each other, and at the point of explicits that one says to the other, if you say another word, I'm going to kill you. Not going to lie, can't make this up, all right? So as I do this, my wife is on this side of me. I go from sense of awareness to a yellow to an orange. I have her walk behind me, and then I place her on my left side. Can anyone in my studio audience explain why I put her on my left side? I'm right-handed. So I'm going to put her on my weak side. So if this person comes at me, or my level of orange, gets any higher, he starts to become an immediate threat, I can use my right hand, which is my dominant hand, to do whatever I got to do. Subliminal message, all right? Or do whatever I got to do to get that person away. This is where my Tai Chi and everything goes great. Now, once you go from that white, or you're no longer in white, you go to that yellow. From orange, you go into red. Now red is execution, all right? Now red means there's multiple threats. There's multiple individuals that you're going to see. Now you're going to have to seek to, how are you going to diffuse the situation, and what type of force or deadly force are you going to use? Now, I'm going to tell you something right now. My friend Moses Avila, who just went down to Springfield to honor those officers that have fallen, I will tell you that he will say as a lieutenant in Joliet, he will very rarely use his mouth or his, what he calls his verbal judo, to talk him way not into red. So that guy, if you get into red and you're in yellow and you start to get into orange and this guy starts to come to me, you start to use that verbal judo, starting to say, hey man, what's going on? Because by at all costs, if you get into red and you get into red with me, or you get into red with one of my officers, at that point you got expend all remaining. That's where people see on TV where the officer is restraining that individual beyond what they see their control, because they've gone through all of these levels of mental awareness. Now, but let's say my PTSD comes in, all right? Let's say I'm not having my A game, and I hear that same thing, all right? And I hear, I'm going to kill you. And then I freeze, and I can't move. And I don't know what to do. And my wife is like, Rick, what's going on? Rick, what's going on? Well, that's the level you don't want to be in. And that's the next level, which is black. Black means you freeze up. You can't do anything. This is what you've seen depicted in movies when a guy can't move, he's frozen, all right? We say that when that fight-to-flight response happens, you're done. You're pinned because you're not thinking, you're not moving, and you become a target. So it's kind of funny is you don't want to be white, you don't want to be black. That's a little bit of Michael Jackson. All right, you want to stay in that yellow or that orange. Now, how do you control this? Diet and exercise, you guys. We talk about those 4 things. Boom, 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 boom. That's a nice way to keep your level of awareness. Because again, if you're hydrated, if you're asleep, if you got enough sleep, if you've been exercising, your heart rate is not through the roof, you can allow yourself to be more aware. Now, what do I recommend as a human? Where do you stay at? Wherever you feel comfortable in. I feel comfortable in a yellow that executes to an orange if necessary, and then as I go through, I never feel that a red is for me. And I don't think, Esteban, I've gotten into a red, to be honest with you, twice. Yes, I apologize. I thought I haven't been in a red in a little while, but I have, and that was an altercation that I had that you guys remember in one of the podcasts that I used my thumb right here. That's all I did to put in some guy's eye. We'll talk maybe more about that one later. All right, but in summary, and before I put this all together, for Nurses Week, you guys, I want you to do something for me. I want you to work on yourself. First off, on May 17th, we're going to have the first aid professor right here at 8 o'clock for a workout, and then at 9 o'clock, we're going to come in and we're going to do that first aid class with Randy, the first aid professor. That's number 1. Number 2, I want you to, during Nurses Week as a nurse, this is my patient teaching, I want you to raise your sense of awareness, you guys. When you walk into the room, See how many people are wearing blue shirts. Then see how many people are wearing red shirts. Raise your sense of awareness. All right? The third thing I want you to do for me, you guys, is make sure you practice that sleep hygiene, because none of this awareness ever helps if you're not properly rested. So as you're using that sleep hygiene, remember, how do I like you to do that? Have a composition book, things you do first thing in the morning, things you're going to do by 12, things you're going to do by 3, things you're going to do whenever. Now, that whenever is super important, because those are the things that really help us or stop us from getting that good REM sleep. If you choose to do some of these activities, then you will get better. But me and Chad had one conversation, Esteban, you'll think this is really funny, is that a lot of Marines who are like myself would not go to a level 1 training course. And do you know why? Their big-ass ego that's sitting right next to them. Because, I got it handled. I could do this. Just like when our Tai Chi classes on Wednesday, there's not 75 people in those classes like there should be. There's like 3. Why is it? I could defend myself. I could do everything. What me and Chad told each other was this. I said, Chad, the reason you're different is that you are on the now when it comes to defense, into close combat. I know 1995 programming, maybe even 1998. Same thing when someone tells me and Esteban, I got my exercise figured out. Really? Yeah. Are you current, or are you using or I would say, because you guys are younger, are you using 2005 terminology? And most time you are. And the nice thing is, being an expert or a master in the field, I'm in the current field. So you guys all have a baseline, and that's good. The only difference that me and Chad figured out was with me, he didn't have to go through all the basics over and over again. He went through it once, and then from there, we were able to better what we were doing. So what does that do? It provides our motivation will inspire you to be better. See what I mean? Chad did it. Our motivation inspired you to be better because what did I do? I had the baseline from the Marine Corps. I put my ego to the side, and I went to a level 1 training course. So this week during Nurses Week, you guys, I want you to try my tips and be on the lookout, you guys, for all these little tips. And here's what I'll ask you to do. Practice them. Practice them. Because what are you going to do? Watch YouTube? Okay, yeah, subscribe to my channel. All right? And then from there, just go and practice them. Shut the book. Shut the TV off. Go to Panikin, where there is no Wi-Fi, and they allow to keep that. What keeps me powered, keeps me strong. Again, our motivation will inspire you to be better. Go hug a nurse. Get a little bit saucy with some coffee. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Rick Noda, host here at T3 Body, where we tighten, tone, and transition. To get a hold of me, check me out at info@t3bodyencinitas.com or on our social networks, Instagram at T3bodyencinitas, Facebook, we're still under that CaliFit WKO, that's our non-for-profit, and check us out and subscribe on our YouTube channel, we are T3 Talks, where our motivation inspires you to be better. See you at my next podcast.